What are your thoughts on government policy and assistance in that area?
Well, I would like to see more assistance in that area because I think it's fundamental. You don't grow to be the big companies of tomorrow if you're not supported in the early stages. I think it is a government role to help support that. Obviously, the government doesn't agree, but in our view, we think it's absolutely essential to support small companies. We now support them, but it's on a fee-for-service basis. We do provide services free of charge, but you know, we have to generate income ourselves, so we can't do that indefinitely.
So how many people a year would you help?
About 1,800.
Wow. And how do you reach people? Because we met through a network and it seems to be largely network-based. How else do you reach people?
Well, because we've had a relationship with government for many years, through government agencies, we've worked closely with the Patent Office, we work closely with accountants, with patent attorneys, with designers, everybody in the food chain. And because we've been around for over 25 years now, we know all those people. So we've got a vast network. People know us, they trust us, they refer people to us. So basically that's how the word gets out. People in this innovation space know that we'll give candid advice. We don't mislead people, we don't take money off them if we can't help them. We try and do the best we can for our clients and to get a positive result for them. So I think that credibility over many years is what has helped us to generate new clients.
Because I find with people that have got new ideas and new inventions that they're so secretive and scared that someone will take them and go out on their own with them. And so having that trust established over such a long period of time is huge.
Well, there is an area of paranoia, let's say, with people with new ideas. We've certainly been in on consultations where the client won't tell us what the idea is.
Exactly.
So you're in that situation and it's very hard to help when you don't actually know what the product is, so to give good advice. If you're paranoid like that, the chances of you ever actually doing anything are really small because somewhere along the line you need to talk to other people about your idea. I mean, the people that won't tell us what it is won't tell the patent attorney. So how are you going to ever file a patent? They don't trust the patent office, they don't trust the patent attorney, they don't trust the designers. All this means, you know, the chances of going forward are going to be very slim. You have to be cautious, but not paranoid. You take normal precautions.
How do you work with people like that? Because that wastes your time as well as theirs.
Well, if we have a client that won't tell us the idea, basically there's not much we can do. I mean, we will point out to them the folly of that. You know, okay, what you'll have is 100% of an idea that nobody else knows about, but it will never make you any money. So good luck and goodbye, basically. You know, you're free to do with it what you will, but you won't be able to do very much. When people realise that that's a bit of a foolish standpoint, they often come back to us and say, okay, look, I realise I'm not going to go anywhere unless I talk to people. So we always say, use confidentiality agreements. If you're going to meetings, take a third party. It could be Innovic, it could be your accountant, somebody else, a trusted other person. But don't be too paranoid, because you're just never going to get anywhere if you are.
Now you also have the Big Ideas competition each year. What's that about?
The Next Big Thing award came out some years ago because people were always asking us when we were in media interviews, you see a lot of ideas, so what's the next big thing? So we decided, okay, let's find the next big thing. So we devised a competition which became an international competition to find and showcase ideas with the potential to become the next big thing. These are all fully developed products, I should add. And it's been a nationwide competition, and we've had 2 showcases at the Melbourne Museum, and it's been very successful. In fact, I was having a meeting with one of the finalists of the Next Big Thing Award in 2007, still carrying on with the product. Often those finalists are now got to the stage where they're generating money out of their ideas, they're exporting. The results of the Next Big Thing Award and the sort of achievements they've achieved have been remarkable. Those finalists are now exporting to 42 different countries. They're generating a huge amount of revenue, over $20 million per year, and many of them are going from strength to strength. I don't keep in touch with all of them, but I do see some of them on a regular basis. And I like to keep in touch with ones that I've taken a particular interest in.
And does that occur, what time of year does that occur, and how do people get involved with that?
Well, that has been, since the government withdrew its funding, that has had to rely purely on sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the sponsorship, we're trying to nail it down for future years. So that's something still in progress as I speak. But we also, as I said, provide the practical services, and we can showcase ideas on our website, which we often do.
Mm-hmm. And so with yourself, how did you get involved with Innovic?
Well, how did I get involved with Innovic? I've had a long involvement with innovative companies.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to some of the work I've done overseas in Africa, working in with very innovative startups in South Africa, work that I've done in Japan and Korea and Taiwan, and also working in Melbourne. When I first came to Victoria, I worked with a very innovative arts organisation, doing arts programs for disabled and disadvantaged people in the community. And that involved things like working with people that were dance instructors, marrying them up with people in old people's residential homes and kindergarten children, or working with an artist in residence in a hospital. Mm-hmm. So there were artists that we placed in various community settings, trying to bring together people that didn't normally work together, whether it was for dance or singing or music or various types of therapeutic activities. That was a very innovative company, and when I returned to Melbourne after doing some travelling in the Sahara in Central Africa, I got back in touch with the organisation, and they put me in touch with Dr. Bruce Wan, who was running the Victorian Innovation Centre at that time, mm-hmm. and I joined the centre in 1987, wow. And I've been here ever since.
Ah. So what are the biggest challenges that you see with the people that come through with the innovators?
The biggest challenges probably are the money to develop the ideas. Mm-hmm. So we see a lot of ideas, not all of them good, and not all of them are going to be viable. Mm-hmm. But there is a percentage that are good and they are viable. The challenge then is to access the funds to develop them. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the clients themselves have some funding. Sometimes it's a case of drip feeding the funding, and that can take quite a long time. And it's hard for many innovators and their families to stay the course, given that this is going to take a few years. Mm-hmm. So we've been on this journey with some clients. They've come in where they're married with small children, and by the time they finish the process, they're divorced with grown-up children. So it's a long time, and it's hard for people to keep passionate for that amount of time.
Yes.
To keep the dream alive, to keep going when it's quite difficult. You're trying to run your own business and perhaps do some other things to generate income on the side and keep your family involved. And if you don't have support of your family, it is very hard.
Yes.
If you've got a partner that's going to say to you, why do you keep going on with that? That's really difficult. That's going to create conflict and friction in a family situation. So you have to have support. And, over time, you get more or less enthusiastic. Sometimes your enthusiasm waxes, it wanes. You need support of outsiders. You need people to talk to when you're saying, I don't know what to do now, the business angel has pulled out, I've seen this problem, we've tried to manufacture it this way, the prototypes are broken, whatever is the problem.
Yes.
There are all these problems. I mean, when it can go wrong, it does go wrong. That's the nature of the commercialisation pathway. There are always obstacles.
So what would be the advice to leave people with?
The advice, really, I think, would be if you've got no money, you can't get into this business. So you really can't do it totally on a shoestring. Somewhere along the line, you will have to pay money, whether it's for your patent, whether it's for your design, whether it's for production, manufacture, distribution, it costs. Even if you want a license, you've still got to get to the stage where the idea is suitably attractive to somebody to license it to them. That takes money. It takes time, it takes skills, it takes money. So if you have no money at all, forget it. Get into some other business. If you do have money, you have passion, you have a good idea, then get help. You can't do it on your own. It's almost impossible, unless you're a very exceptional individual. I would say get help, collaborate with people, don't be too paranoid, and do research. We have people that come in with ideas that I could go to Bunnings or some other outlet and see on the shelf. You know, a simple look on Google, a simple visit to the stores will tell you that idea is already out there. So don't waste time on things that have already been invented. So doing research in the early stage can save you a lot of time and trouble later on. So I would certainly say do research.
Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Lauren. Thank